I know most of you have seen my fursuit, but look at the amount of white that is on this fucker. I'm not gonna lie, he still looks pretty good for being nearly 2 years old. But seriously, like, I'm gonna be honest, kinda like the fact that he's white. Oh, he is just adorable. He doesn't pay any goddamn rent, but he's still too cute. Mwah. Also, like, I can't put anything near him, otherwise, like, it's over. Like, if I accidentally spill coffee on him, it's over. If I get any mustard on him, it's over. Literally just had a fucking glizzy with relish and mustard. It's over. As soon as this gets on him, it's done. And the fact that he's remained spotless and very clean throughout the past 2 years of me having him, I'm gonna be honest, it's pretty good. Because, like, honestly, I kind of wanted to talk a bit about, like, fursuit maintenance and all that. Not, like, first-hand experience, but, like, I don't know, just, like, not examples, but, like, first-hand experience of what I would recommend anyone who is just starting to own a fursuit should do to maintain the quality of their fursuit so that it lasts for as long as you can make it last for. I do a pretty good job at making sure the fursuit head is pretty clean. One of the go-to things that you should always use if you have a fursuit is Fursuit Spray. If you don't know what this is Soap Pony branded Fursuit Spray. If you don't know who Soap Pony is, you should probably fix that and get some Fursuit Sprays from them right now. And if you don't know, Fursuit Spray is pretty much a good mixture between water and isopropyl alcohol and essential oils to make things smell nice. So the flavor that I have or use, a little bit of info from Maverick. For my fursuit head, when I spray down Maverick, blueberry pancake. That does not look any better. But yeah, I use a blueberry pancake scented fursuit spray. And they just had a deal that I totally went in on and got like 3 bottles of this shit. And this will probably last me 2 conventions. And I can't open it. Oh, wait, I can. Ooh, very alcohol-y. A little bit of like a blueberry muffin smell, it's literally like blueberry pancake scented. So basically, if you don't know, Fursuit Spray is pretty much your go-to for keeping your fursuit head clean and pretty much de-molded and de-sweaty and de-stinky, unless that's your thing, which I would not recommend for a fursuit head. Fursuit Spray is your go-to for keeping your fursuit head clean if you're not actually cleaning it. If you're not actually cleaning your fursuit head with the whole like Bissell or like throwing it in the washing machine, if your fursuit head can be done that way. If you're not cleaning your fursuit head that way, the best thing you can do, especially after fursuiting sessions, is use Fursuit Spray. This is what I do. I'm actually going to do this real quick to even like, come back here, you fucking freeloader. All right. So just for an example, what I do, say I just got back from fursuiting. Usually I'd be fucking like red in the face, dripping with sweat sometimes because I sweat a lot. And the inside of the head would generally be very moist. And I do mean very moist. Say I just get back from a fursuit session, dripping in the face with sweat, very red. Look like I just came back from like a mile jog, you know? And the inside of the fursuit head, you know, it looks fine, but maybe it smells a bit more like me. Maybe a bit more like BO. Who knows? Who knows what I've been doing in fursuit? But mostly, if you ever feel the inside of the balaclava, inside the head, it would be very moist, maybe a bit cold, maybe a bit warm, but mainly moist. And when I mean moist, I mean wet. When I mean moist, I mean very moist. So after a fursuiting session, what I'll usually do, as soon as I take off my fursuit, do not wait till later to do this, because then the sweat will dry, and the oils of your skin and your pores will seep into the fursuit, which is how you damage it and make the white fur turn yellow, and you don't want that. So what I'll usually do, and this is actually a good plan to do with Maverick, is I'll spray the inside of the head with my fursuit spray. So what I'll actually do sometimes, let me see if I can do this the right way. Like I'll get around the inside. What I'll usually end up spraying is anywhere but the eyes. So the eyes right here are painted on. So you don't want to get those wet, and you don't want to spray them with alcohol, otherwise the paint is going to melt, and you're not going to have the design on the front like you usually want. So what I'll do is, if I can, I'll cover it up, the eye holes area up, with like some magnets and some fabric that I have on both ends so it doesn't get through. And I'll spray the inside of the fursuit head. So like anywhere where my head actually touched the fabric, the spray will hit. So like around the inside of the nose area where my nose would be, the top of the head area where my head rests, the inside, especially around the chin and the inside of the mouth here, that's where I'll spray, and around the sides where the cheeks are. And then if I can, like flip it on my head, I'll just like spray the inside of the neck region, and then like the neck floof around here. That is like your go-to for cleaning your fursuit and keeping it well maintained. I do this because I want my fursuit to look nice. And as you know, I have a white fursuit. And if you forgot, so does Kim Kardashian. But seriously, like, maintaining white fur is very, very fucking hard. So, just maintain it well, especially if you have a white fursuit like mine. And people tell me all the time, like, oh, Beta, why don't you fucking invert Maverick's colors? How about fuck you and I keep my character? Some people do actually recommend like using less white fur for your character if you can't really maintain the fursuit well, which I get that, but at the same time, like I like having a white fursuit. It's nice. Look at him. He's really cute. How can you say no to this face? That's why I've let him not pay rent for the past year and a half. So it's like furry deodorant. Cool. Yes, it is literally furry deodorant. However, just because it's fursuit deodorant does not mean you shouldn't take a shower. Remember, if you're going to a convention, I don't want to fucking smell you. And when I mean I don't want to smell you, it means I don't want to smell a Hot Pocket coming out of a microwave coming from your body. So please shower at a con at least once a day. I try to shower twice a day at a con, especially after I fursuit, because I don't want to smell like crap. Please shower, for the love of God. That's all I'm asking you. But either way, point being, white fursuit, very hard to maintain. The fear of it is very high. I cannot take coffee anywhere near him. It's kind of scary. But yeah, what I do, let me actually just do it real quick, even though you can't really see it. Let me just do it real quick. How does this work? So what I usually do is I'll spray the inside of the fursuit head, but I'll try to avoid the eyes if I can. I don't have the fabric magnets that I use for the inside and outside. So basically, like, I'm going to start selling these as well for those that need them for fursuit spray. But basically, I'm just going to get 2 magnets, get a bit of fabric on the outside of them, and use them, or just not even fabric, just magnets, cut magnets, that I put one on the eye hole in here and one on the reverse end. So they magnetize together and protect the eyes from being hit by whatever. If you're cleaning the fursuit head or you're spraying spray on it, it's all good. So yeah, I'm going to start using that from now on. I'm going to sell them as a product with time, so look out for that. So, spraying the inside of the head, I'm going to get around the chin area, around the back of the head, around the top of the head, around the sides, around the nose area. I got to get really close for that. And there. Perfect. And the eyes are not wet, so we're all good. Inside near the neck area, and then we flip it over, and we get inside the neck region here. You probably don't need this much fursuit spray, but I am anxiety driven, so yeah, you get my fear. And look at that. Technically, this is a clean wagon. You just let it dry, you put it on a fan or something, it should be good. Let me actually demonstrate that. Oh, by the way, if you're going to a con or you're trying to clean or dry a fursuit head, this is your best friend. Some sort of like little fan. If you want to get the X Blower Lasco, highly recommend it. It's like a geometric thing. It's literally like a fucking cube, but in the form of the X. I put this on I put the fursuit head on this. It's fucking amazing, okay? 10 out of 10, would recommend it. Dries your fursuit in like 5 minutes tops, easily. Let me actually do that real quick. That's all set up, just like that. Air is flowing out. But yeah, you set up your head so that it's on the fursuit fan, whatever you call it, Lasco fan. And the air is flowing through the head, making its way out the mouth. If you feel a breeze coming out of the mouth, mission accomplished. Your fursuit head is going to be cleaned in like 5 minutes, 5 seconds. I don't know. You probably couldn't hear a goddamn thing. And Maverick is cooling in the background. Look at him. If you feel a breeze coming out of the fursuit head, you know that it's getting airflow. Give it 5 minutes tops, and the fucker will be cleaned. But yeah, there's a little tutorial on how to clean or manage your fursuit. People did a lot better of a job explaining it than I did, so go and check out those people. I think like Bakariru did a video on this, like a lot better of a video. Still, go and check them out. But yeah, with regards to Kim Kardashian and owning a white fursuit, with it being hard to maintain, it isn't if you maintain it properly. If you take the right measures of properly maintaining your fursuit, especially if it's a white fursuit, you can have that fucker last for a while. Even though I've only been to like a handful of conventions with Maverick and taken him to a handful of places, he is 2 years old and he still looks as good as new. Maybe might need a bath before Megaplex, but worst case scenario, there's just a little bit of stuff inside him, like sweat or oils or whatever. It doesn't matter. All I'd recommend with regards to fearing maintaining a fursuit, even if your fursuit isn't white, yes, you'll have the fears of spilling anything on it, like blood, God forbid. Whatever happens, happens. Or coffee, like me. Getting coffee out of a white fursuit is not happening, period. The fears are there, but you have all the control of making your fursuit last as long as it can. I still like this meme. It's a pretty good meme. And also another thing that I wanted to talk about briefly that people might not understand with regards to fursuits. Little fun fact. Fursuits with time will be destroyed. Regardless of how well you maintain it, regardless of how old it is, with time, it will start to fall apart and you might not be able to wear it anymore. For example, I want to use Majira's old 2.0 fursuit for Majira's Strawberry, whatever. Twizzler as it's called now. That fursuit, it was like, I think 3 years old, 4 years old when he decided to retire it. And the reason why is because the more you wear it, regardless of how well you maintain it or how safe you are with it, the material will decay decay or fall apart with time. That's just how things are. It's like a car, for example, you know? Even if you have a brand new car or a really, really good car that doesn't fall apart, if you're a Prius user, you know? With time, it will break down and fall apart. That is what use over time does. Materials do not last forever. And trust me, it would be very, 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 very expensive to get a material that lasts forever and doesn't deteriorate with time. So keep this in mind for fursuits. No matter how well I clean that fucker in the back, no matter how well I disinfect him, no matter how well I give him a bath, his fur will turn yellow eventually, or tinted yellow because it's a white fursuit, or he'll start to fall apart. Preferably like the last one will happen instead of his fursuit color turning a bit yellowish. But like, I think honestly, give it a year or two for Maverick, the fur color will be a bit tinted, maybe a bit grayer, maybe a bit yellower, but that's not because I don't maintain him well. That's just with time, the fur is used more. Same thing with cleaning it. Like, think about it this way as well. The more you clean your fursuit, the more in a sense you destroy it. So like, if you use the little like green machine, the Bissell like little compact cleaner, or if you wash it in the, you know, washing machine, let it dry, whatever, that in a sense is destroying your fursuit. Not in a bad way, but in the sense that like the fur is being moved around, whatever materials are being brushed up against each other, and with time, fur might patch off, some seams might, you know, disconnect. Something might fall off or wash off. That's just how it is. So I want you guys to understand this little bit with the fursuit, that like no matter how well you maintain it, it will destroy with time. However, if you try to wash it a lot more often, so like say for example, I go to one convention, I barely use Maverick. I wash him after that convention, or I wash him so many times every month or week. With time, the fursuit will actually begin to destroy itself. Because you're putting it through multiple cleanings, you're brushing it a lot, you're taking out hair, and in some sense, you know, the soap destroys the foam material on the inside, so there's that as well. But just keep that in mind when you have a fursuit. There's a fine balance between cleaning it and just being able to spray some isopropyl in it, or even just not having to clean it. If you did not sweat inside the fursuit, and there are no oils inside it from your body, because it's natural that you sweat, if there's none of that, then you don't need to clean it. Maybe just spray it down once or twice, maybe give it a few brushes, keep it in a nice dry room, and you should be good. That is how cleaning a fursuit sort of works. You need to find the balance between cleaning it constantly or cleaning it not at all. There's a fine balance in between it to maximize the length of how long your fursuit is going to last and keeping it from not looking like it's destroying itself. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just the point is, keep in mind that your fursuit eventually will be destroyed, regardless of what you might say or do or what you might want. You could get it refurbished, but at the end of the day, like, there's only so much you can do. The point is, get another fursuit. Also, another thing, like, fursuit makers don't design fursuits to, like, destroy themselves either. Keep that in mind before you go, like, conspiracy theory, like, oh, fursuit makers are just like washing machines and, like, Apple iPhones. Like, after a year or so, they destroy themselves, and then you gotta get another one. No, that's not how it works. We don't have programming inside the fursuit heads for it to just self-destruct, unless a bomb is literally implanted in the fursuit head, but that's a separate thing entirely. But just keep this in mind when you're managing your fursuit. When you first get your fursuit, you're obviously going to be very protective of it. You're going to feel like, oh shit, a drop of sweat fell inside it. I gotta fucking clean this now. Like, you're not gonna have that happen all the time. And that's okay. You don't need to realistically clean it all the time like that. But seriously, like, just keep that in mind when you have a fursuit. I've seen a lot of people mention from time to time how, like, oh, my fursuit fell apart after 2 to 3 years. My fursuit maker's awful. No, that's not necessarily it. It could be the case. It very well could be. But you need to remember that materials decay with time. The more you wear the fursuit, the more it's going to decay. And this isn't a sense of like after 2 to 3 wearings that it's just going to fall apart. Maybe that was the case, and maybe your suit maker didn't properly sew things together or just used hot glue. Maybe the whole meme of like, is this a bird, came to play with making a fursuit, and they were like, is this how to make a fursuit? And then it's a hot glue gun. But as long as you don't smell like shit around me, your fursuit is probably fine. And it doesn't have to do with me, just in general. If your fursuit doesn't smell like BO, it's probably fine. Maybe get a second opinion for that. So like, if my white fursuit has lasted for 2 years now, and it doesn't look like the color is changing for how white he is, or if it's darkening, you can do a pretty good job managing your fursuit too. Just saying, the small things matter. Like making sure he's not in a moist room. That would probably help. But yeah, take care of your fursuit. That's all I can ask, I guess. I don't know.